Meanwhile, Senator Lindsey Graham wants Rahami treated as an enemy combatant. So let's talk about this. Judge Andrew Napolitano, Fox News senior judicial analyst, joins me now. Good morning to you, Judge.
Good morning, Martha.
I watched this morning on another channel as the people discussing it were horrified at his comments and saying essentially that it negates and undercuts everything that we stand for in this country. Do you agree?
I do agree. If you're talking about Donald Trump's arguments, I thought they were very effective because he never actually called for a suspension of due process. He just sort of mocked and criticized the treatment that this guy will get in the University of Hospital in Newark. But Senator Graham's comments were particularly troublesome to me because he is a lawyer and a military judge. And he understands that stripping a person of due process is catastrophic and prohibited by the Constitution. So yes, the idea that we have the natural right to due process, essentially fairness from the government, a jury trial, and all the protections that the Constitution provides, and those rights can't be taken away from us because we're hated or feared and act out that hatred because we hate America, we hate the system, and we use violence to propel that hatred. None of that is a basis to take the rights away.
So Graham's argument essentially is that if he is connected to any entity overseas, it puts him in a different category. It makes him an enemy combatant, and it goes to this idea that we are in a continuing war on terror that has been going on since 9/11, and that he falls into a different category because of that.
I accept the argument that he could be an enemy combatant, and I understand Senator Graham's wish for intelligence from him, but none of that, in my view, and in the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Fifth Amendment, which guarantees due process to all persons, in this case he happens to be a citizen, but even if he weren't, he'd be entitled to due process, none of that trumps due process. If this were not so, then nothing would prevent an administrative decision by the government to strip the civil liberties of someone the government hates and fears in order to get information out of that person and punish them more harshly.
If you are, acting against the country and trying to kill innocent people in the country because of your allegiances and your affinity for an entirely different way of life, does that put you in a different category? And do we need to have a way of dealing with this enemy, which falls under the war on terror, that is different than dealing with, someone who, knocks over a bank?
Well, if what Senator Graham offered were to be followed, it would require an amendment to the Constitution, and I'm sure he understands that. He's a very intelligent lawyer. I think he's making a political statement, a wish that we could get information out of this guy. But if every time somebody attacks us, we strip them of their civil liberties, we don't have any liberties left ourselves. These are guarantees in the Constitution. What is the value of a guarantee if it goes away because we hate the person and fear the person whose rights are guaranteed?